is a good day already. Okay. What is today? Is today Thursday or is today Friday? I think today's Thursday. Um, I'm losing track of the days. Everything's merging together. It's night, it's day. Here's the thing, even on trail, over time you would, because you're not really tied to time other than like, maybe a certain time of the day. But when you first start off, uh, yeah, it's just sometimes you lose your stuff. But how's everything going? Okay, Beth, I see you. Nice to see you. What's up, Matthew? Nice to see you. So I have a question for you because um uh and I want to make sure, because some of you guys are new, you don't know me as well as some of the other people who've been here for a while. Um, every once in a while, because I keep an open, I'm very open about my life. I speak about my thoughts. Speak about my feelings. I speak about things that are going on. What's up, moments? Oh, moments with Mitch. Okay, so you're a new member over on Patreon. Okay, so now I know who you are. So you got one ticket, Mitch. Over on you got one ticket. Anyways, we talked about moving this over to Patreon. But anyways, um, so some of you guys are new, some of you guys aren't. I'm very open on my channel. That's part of how I'm building my community. And so that means that I'm going to share raw things. I'm going to share my thoughts, my feelings, and everything else like that. And that's okay. Uh, Good morning, Tommy. Nice to see you, Rebel. Okay, yeah, over to Patreon. Yeah, so on Patreon, well, I was saying that by the end of the month, I was going to start doing it anyways. Um, and so this is my morning live stream is going to be on Patreon. I'm going to start it out for free members, but I'm going to keep it just so that we can keep it private, and those that want to be a part of it. We'll move it. It'll eventually be behind, like, as long as you're as long as you're a paid member, you'll get access to the morning live stream, because that way we could bring it over there. I can have a private conversation, because um like with what happened with bushcraft last night, that didn't just happen in like 1 or 2 days, or that wasn't just like an instant moment. That was actually over the course of a couple of weeks, until finally one day I was open about it. But the thing is, anything that I say publicly about anybody or anything, I've told them to their face. That is something that is a rule that I live by. I live by a lot of different rules, and it's important to live by a certain set of rules, a code of conduct, because not only will it keep you safe, but it'll keep you on the straight and narrow. And when people start accusing you of things that are completely outside of your norm, you're like, no, you can't. No, it works in so many different ways. And so there's even been a couple times in life where I was like, I was gonna say something publicly to other people about it, but I'm like, no, I can't, because I got to go see. I got to go see or I got to go say this to that person, and then it's okay for me to talk. Because here's the thing: nobody likes it when you talk shit behind their back. And if you talk shit behind their back and you're too cowardly to go and say something to them, then you're a coward. So that's the reason why I live by that. I don't want to be a coward. But also at the same time, if I've said everything I needed to say to you and things aren't going, like, okay, I push back or whatever. I've said what I needed to say. And so at that point in time, if I've said what I needed to say, I no longer need to engage you. Whether you're blowing up my phone or you're trying to blow up my chat or whatever else, I already said what I needed to say. And if you weren't listening, that's not my fault. I won't say anything about you publicly unless I've said it to you privately first. And so, like with what went on last night, I want you guys to understand that was the reason why I didn't engage Bushcraft, because I'd already told him everything I thought of him. But by the end of that last conversation we had, because we were both yelling at each other by the end of it. And at that point in time, I was like, I need to de-escalate, get the fuck away, because yeah, him and I, we're not going to talk anymore. And I have people that I get to talk to behind the scenes. Like, I talked to Joanna, I talked to Clyde. Those are the two people. Like as soon as I got off the phone with Bushcraft, who was the first person I called? I called Joanna. And the thing is I was so angry that it festered till finally one day it made it public. Well, but the thing is, um, it's a double-edged sword in the same sense because of me being public. Because what does that mean about people that want to be friends with me or that want to interact with me? And this is something that I grapple with a lot of the time. That is the main reason why this will go behind the paywall. But it also, as I've been saying in my evening live streams, is that and as you guys know, we got about 40-mile-an-hour winds. You guys want to see the trees dance? Here, I'll show you real quick. Can you see them dance? The camera doesn't catch the motion as good as, but yeah, that's 40-mile-an-hour winds. Oh, there we go. There's some good gusts. But yeah, that's Sam's nose prints, by the way. Okay, but anyways, I want to make sure that that's clear because I don't want the wrong impression of me. But anyways, we're gonna this week, what I'm gonna do is as soon as, because Friday comes, and here's the thing. I live out in the middle of nowhere. I have nobody to talk to. I mean, yeah, I can call and talk to people on the phone, but you guys are my friends. I don't have a community to go and hang out with. To be in a trailer and winds like that. Oh yes, I am, Matthew. And this thing, you'll get it probably about seven days out of the month. You're gonna get some really high winds. It's just the way it is out here so far. So, Samantha, what is your perimeter? No, yeah, because as soon as bedtime goes, she goes on alert. She's like, I'm on point. I'll sleep all day. You sleep all night. So, but yeah, this is, it's not fair. In one way, me being public about it wasn't fair to bushcraft. Not that I did anything wrong, because I followed everything. Clyde and I were having a conversation last night, and he's like, "Dude, you're so fascinating. You just wow." And because we're talking, we're talking about business and trust and stuff like that. And I was like, "Well, here's what you do." Da 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 da. And I kind of get into that a little bit, and it's always funny to just hear the reactions from people, because even cops will ask me like, "Are you a lawyer?" I'm like, "Do I need to be?" What's up, Chris? Nice to see you. It's definitely in my price range. Okay. Okay. Are there plots near you out there? I looked at the website last night. Yes. Boys, Matthew, talk to Stephanie directly. She's a good person. She's kind. She's a good person. If you call her and say, "Look, this is my situation. This is what I'm looking for. This is my budget," she will work with you. She will find you a piece of property, and especially if you tell her you're a subscriber of mine. Because yeah, I get to hear about this because it's part of my relationship. If you tell her you're a subscriber of mine, tell her you want to be close to me. I don't have a problem with it, because she asked how I felt about it. I'm like, I don't care. These are my subscribers. I want my community close to me. I don't care if they're right next to me. I prefer not to, but maybe a couple plots down, but I don't mind if you're a subscriber, especially those that will become part of my community, to come live with me, like in this area. Our interactions are going to be much more solid than what I can do online, because this is just a one-on-one. But anyways, yeah, so don't hesitate to call her and just say, "This is what I'm looking for. I wouldn't mind being close to Tuck, just so that we can do our thing." She's got a property like less than a mile away from me. Clyde's got a property, it's about a mile away from me. Okay, so it's a 15-20 minute walk, and if I want to walk across the prairie and stuff like that, across this open land, I could probably cut off a quarter mile. That's the way it is. But there's plenty of things around here for, like, if you want to just find land. There's plenty of land here. That's my thing. But anyway, so what I'm going to start doing, okay, so I have to use YouTube as my backbone until I can get to a point where I can afford Vimeo. Okay, Stephanie with openairproperties.net. Correct. Thank you, Beth. You're a really good producer. I really appreciate it. Between you and Bucknut, you guys keep me online. Thank you very much. All right. But anyways, we're going to start taking the stream over to Patreon. So what's going to happen is, we're probably going to do it for maybe 2 weeks, free for everybody. So if you want to watch the live streams, okay, because the live streams will be for everybody as well. Okay, so if you come over there and get the free membership, okay, at least for the next 2 weeks, you can decide, do I want to do this? Am I going to do this? I'm going to keep it so that everybody that's a paid member can watch it, after that 2 week period of time. So if you're doing the Rebel Watcher, if you're doing Digital Homesteader or Sovereign Operator, you're going to get that every single day, Monday through Friday. It's going to be a more personalized conversation. And plus, this also gives me an opportunity to talk about news headlines behind the scenes, as far as as far as the being able to say things without worrying about censorship. So that is going to be what we're going to start turning Monday mornings into. So my homesteading. So like we've got winds until like Sunday. Okay. So yeah, as you see, the winds are picking up, and they're going to be picking up until about 5 o'clock today when they start going down. Okay. I like your Ponzi scheme that you run while daddy pays your bills. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Looks like Bushcraft's sending his trolls over. If he doesn't stop, we're going to end up in court. So, and because if okay, how much is it? Okay. I imagine gardening would be very challenging out there. Yeah, because there's more rocks than dirt, Matthew. Okay, so how much is it? Let's see here. Yeah. But anyways, guys, and if you come over to my Patreon, or excuse me, if you come over to my TeePublic store, which is down in the description, you can get the mug. Now, I still have to do a design update, so if you want to wait, great. But if you don't mind having a blank back with just one side, but I'm trying to figure out how to duplicate it and get it on the back, but I may not be able to do it. So if you want this type of, if you want a cup like this, I think it's on sale right now. Because TeePublic actually set the price for me. I don't get to set the price on that one. They set it at $26, but if you get it now, like within the next 2 days, you can get it for like $22 or $23. So come on over to TeePublic and check it out. If you're interested in a mug or any of the designs, I even got them in totes. So let's see here. Content equals what a homesteader needs. Yes. So imagine gardening would be okay. Yes. Okay. Time for the lawyers. You know what? I handle my own legal processes. You don't actually want to mess. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't mind trolls. I usually invite them in, but here's the thing. In media, any publicity is good publicity, but the best publicity is bad publicity, because what does it do? It brings people's attention to you and stuff like that. So I don't care. Yes, it rains at least once a month out here. Well, dude, I took over 2 houses using adverse possession. Bushcraft was talking about how somebody ripped off his design. I was trying to tell him how to do it, but he's like, "No, I don't want to do it. I just want to complain about it." And it's like, yeah, it's not hard. The legal, you've got to simplify it. You got to understand that basically they took philosophy. So like, hey, Beth and Chris, if you guys see any of Bushcraft's crowd come over here, try and start something, just go ahead and hide them from the channel. And if you want to know how to do it, you click on their icon, and then at the bottom it says hide channel. So no, okay. This includes the decision of various topics in this world. AI will come up during discussions, right? Yes, AI is going to be a big part of our life moving forward. So I think there's a misunderstanding, Grease. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not really following chat that much, but but yeah, if Bushcraft's, unless it's a personal attack, okay. I mean, you want to sit there and be an asshole, be an asshole. You just don't get to be an asshole to my subscribers. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I have no problem with that. Let's see here, but would make sense to get a water catchment system out there. Yeah, it takes time, but Matthew, you're gonna want to at least make sure you have $180 to $200 to have a water tank delivered, like one of these IBC totes that I have. You're not going to get it for less than $200. and you're going to want the one that's painted black. Any of the storage facilities around here will do it for you. And because the thing is even as a single person, even if you're not doing a garden right away, you at least have enough water to last you. Now it'll probably cost you it'll probably cost you about $1,000 if you want to be able to have 4 totes. Make sure that you get pallets as well. There's free pallets in St. John's. There's free pallets in Sholo, but you'd want to make sure that you get pallets so that you can at least have 2 or 3 for your water tote to sit on. Otherwise, you're going to be on the ground. So you got to elevate it a little bit. Everybody uses pallets out here. That you see mine, it's on 2 pallets, and basically it's big enough for my bucket. I still got to tilt it, open it, close it, stuff like that. But when it comes to water, who is Bushcraft? Oh, subscriber / content creator. For me, it's less about the finances, more about what's allowed in zoning, whatnot. What's the wildlife out there like? You have small pests or wolves and snakes. I haven't seen any snakes or anything. We do have cats out here. But generally they stay away from the general public. I'm in an area where I'm like on the edge of everything, so I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, so general, it's on the outside. You got to worry about cats. You got coyotes. But the farmer, because this is open graze. This is part of the farmland. I guess it used to be like BLM land or something like that. But this right here, that you have open grazing of the cattle. So the farmer has donkeys with his cattle to keep them going. The cattle kind of come and do the outskirts of us. So we see them come through here, and then they just kind of they'll mosey down to the lake. So you got the cows, you got the coyotes, you've got the mice, and I'm telling you, these little mice, these little, it's a 20-foot fifth wheel. Anyways, the mice, oh man, the field mice, those are the real problem. That's why I'm waiting for my neighbor to give me a cat. And I love black cats. Black cats are my favorite. I can't wait to show you guys my black cats. That right there will be something that that I look forward to. Guidelines for the channel, please. Okay. Are you sitting? Am I sitting on the poop bucket? No, I'm not. Possibly a small RV. No. Why would I say? Here's something. Okay, so a lot of these van lifers, they like to put their shit buckets inside. That's disgusting. Okay, that's a biohazard. This is why they try and run the homeless out of the camps. Okay, because they say it's a health hazard. But what about all the van lifers that have their shit bucket in there? Even if you put a cover over that, those fumes are still getting out. The reason why you have to have a fan in your bathroom to be able to pull it out is because of the fumes. Apparently you can blow up your house if you don't have that ventilation system in there. That's why it's important to have that. But not only that, it's toxic. You can get sick off of more things. So you've got a little camp, and then you're shitting around camp, but you're not going far enough away from camp to where all that's coming in there. And then people get sick, they get giardia, they get dysentery and stuff like that. And that's why you'll see a lot of sickness and stuff like that in those camps. And they have health issues, is because they won't walk an extra 50, 100 feet away to take a crap. And they don't even bury it. They just leave it right there on top of the damn ground. It's disgusting. No, you have to be sanitary about how you put out your waste. I've got dysentery from a restaurant. I never want to experience that again. It was, yeah, it was not fun. I have gotten giardia because I hung around a camp, and that's how I found out. I was like, oh shit, this is why they're saying it's a health hazard, because yeah, you got people pissing shit like within 10 feet of you. It's like, what the, you know what I mean? Yes, was that you moments? I miss you, who had stated that chickens battle snakes if given a chance. That's good to know. How do you dispose of your waste? Do you burn it, take it to a dumpster? I would prefer to take it to a dumpster, but I'm probably going to be forced to burn it. But I think my finances might be turning around. Just because of the way that everything's switching. I've picked up 1 new member. We need 9 more over on Patreon. My goal is over the next 6 weeks is to pick up 10 members. We've got 1 new member. let's see what else. Yeah, those are the only animals and stuff. Like as far as this, there's a depot here in town. They're open Wednesdays at noon, and if you go over there, I think it's like if you take like a couple of like the big trash bags, the big was it like the big black trash bags, they will actually give you um what's it called, like for $5 you can drop it because it's like it's nothing. It's a transfer station for them. Now, because of how far out on the edge I am, I can't have trash service, but if I was probably about 3 or 4 blocks in, and if I was on the other side of the cattle grade, I would probably be able to get some sort of trash service. And but from what I understand, they charge $80 to $100 a month. More members can make stuff happen. Yes, subs get to watch the whole process. Yes. How do you? Okay, so yeah, I hope that understands. Yes, waste moments. Okay, so yeah, what on days where it's super windy, this is just going to be a conversation, a group chat where we sit back and we chat. So make sure that you get your Patreon free membership. What I will do is I will post it as a link, and so you'll get your notification. Um, um, you'll get a notification for uh, you get a notification of a post, and I'm going to put the link in the post. So therefore, it's private. It's nobody gets to see it except for those that have access to the link. You move the rocks, Tuck. I will be cheering you on. Yes, Beth. You and Joanna are my biggest cheerleaders. Sounds like a great place to fly kites. Oh, dude, I wish I had like one of those little hang gliders, because I mean, I could easily. It wouldn't take much to get me off the ground, and I mean, I kind of got a little bit of a cliff over here, anyways. I could just catch that updraft, man. I could probably be flying around, and I wouldn't even need to buy a drone. And then I could start getting aerial photos, because some of the suggestions from my outlines and stuff that the AI helps me with. Suggested I do like a drone shot of my property, but I'm like, a drone's like a couple $100, even $100 drone, but still, just to get the camera and do all that stuff. Just I don't have it, so if I had a hang glider, I could just do that instead and still have more fun. Mm, okay, okay. Twin cheers from me and Joanna. Yes, morning DFH. Nice to see you, buddy. So make sure, and I do know some of my homeless community, and those of you that are in my homeless community, you send me a direct link, and I'll send you a gift. Or excuse me, not a direct link, send me a direct message on Patreon or via email, and I'll send you a gift that will get you by for the next 30 days. But here's the thing: if I send you this gift, I expect attendance, because that's kind of the whole thing. Is why I haven't really moved over to Patreon to begin with, is because um, I want the audience. I need at least 5 to 6 people to interact with, because otherwise it becomes boring for me and it becomes a one-sided conversation. I might as well just do a long form video. So how about selling poop buckets too? That no, I'm not gonna do that. That's funny though, Grease. Someone has an ingenious idea, Matthew B. Um, okay, okay. Get a wind sail and attach it to a skateboard. Ride into town on windy days. There's a guy that does that on our bike path. The local paper wrote a story about him. Dude, can you? I would honestly. I may have to go look that story up. If you want to, you can email me. You can email me my a link to it. My email is friartuck@hobotuck.com. You can find it down in the description. So, how about selling poop buckets? Yeah, no. Someone hasn't. Yeah, that is a pretty cool idea. I mean, I'm happy. I would like that. Hmm. I didn't even notice I positioned the Nido milk. So I instead of getting eggs, because it's starting to get too warm, I just decided to get a box of cereal. And so this right here, so I had breakfast, so I had a bowl of cereal with the Nido milk. Oh man, it is so good. So sled dog. Yeah, you know what, Sam? When we were on the AT, Sam would not pull me up a hill. She'll pull me down a hill, but she'll never pull me up a hill. What's the coldest it gets there ever? Snow. It with the wind chill. For me right now, this winter it got down to like 8 degrees. Maybe no. It got down lower than that. It got like down to 0. So you can get into the negative temperatures, but you're gonna generally see it not go below single digits. Sledgehammer. What's the call? I know that, Chris. Our train cement in the pool like a proper sledgehammer. Huh. Uh, Sled dog is probably what you meant. Land sailor. Okay. If I moved there, I would only have a motorcycle for transport. Would it be safe? Actually, it's preferred because on some of these back roads, a lot of the people that they have like the 40 seat, they want something loud because it scares the cats away. You won't have to worry about dogs or anything else like that. Everybody keeps an eye on their dog. Sam's friendly, so I don't have to like, watch her every moment. But they're like Rasta man. When we go by, I'm a little loud coming up to his property so that he's notified if he's outside to put his dogs or at least put his dogs at bay because they want to attack Sam. A couple of weeks ago on the way into town, Sam, one of them tried to attack Sam. So I mean, I was protecting him, but I don't know. I'm Rasta man. I'm making friends with him. He seems like a decent guy, but you got to keep arm's distance. But we're gonna end up doing a collaboration, and honestly, I'm hoping that we can that we can kind of help his channel grow a little bit too, because he's a digital homesteaders, and that's kind of those that are doing the digital homesteading. Just like you want to make the homeless be more productive, then you reward them for being productive and don't reward them for not being productive. In the same way, you see homesteaders that are taking the digital realm, you want to reward them, say, hey, look, let's build a digital homesteading community. From what I've been told is that there's a big community here of stoners, and some of them like to be on YouTube. Most of them don't, but we all end up congregating together with each other. Kind of like that's kind of how things get going. So, when you're dealing with a digital homesteader, he may not just be a single individual. He may be representing a whole off-grid community, because there are some of us, I guess, that do this like what I do, but most of them don't. Either because they don't want to be on the camera, or they want their privacy, or they deal with paranoia. There's a lot of different reasons why you wouldn't want to be on camera. You just don't like it. Okay, but I'm learning. This is something I'm learning about the off-grid community, is that at least there's at least one digital representative. And so again, those are our digital homesteaders, and that will give you more of an insight to where other off-grid communities are and how they live, and it may even give you insight for the future when you go through the great dispossession of, hey, this is where I can go, this is where I can't go. Because I mean, that's what the van lifers did. Once the van lifers started doing that, that's how they network around the country. I think that as digital homesteaders, we're going to have to do the same thing. Consider carrying dog spray. Look into Clark Craft boat plans or Glenelg boat plans. I can't remember which has plans. Okay, that okay. Consider carrying dog spray. I don't have to, because I'll put it this way: if a dog ever gets to a point where it threatens me or Sam, my adrenaline will kick in, because it almost did with that pit. I was ready to grab it by the head, because once you got an animal by a head, you completely control it. And I was going to, if she didn't get her dog back away from Sam, I was about ready to take care of the dog myself. Dog spray. My thing is I've noticed, because when you're on trail, you have to deal with dogs a lot. Okay. you have to deal with a lot of dogs, and sometimes they're not friendly. I've had three situations where I've either gotten cornered or almost attacked by a dog, and I've had to fend my way out. And so you learn different ways. First of all, you gotta stand tall. You gotta get a deep voice. You gotta get loud. You gotta speak with like you've got to muster as much anger and rage as possible, because that's going to come out in your voice. That, and when you've got um okay um yeah, when you've got when you're doing that, that kind of gives the dog a sense of like, okay, this is about to get aggressive. Now if that dog is aggressive, then things like stomping on the ground, never turning your back to a dog. Because one thing I noticed, because I had one that followed me, and as soon as I turned my back, he would try and sneak up on me and attack me from behind, so I had to backtrack the whole way out. There are ways to deal with dogs that you don't have to have any weapons, but if they do come at you, um, like Sam, I keep trying to show her, because whenever we roughhouse, I've always got control of her head. She can't really do anything to me. She could try everything you want. It's just like, when you got a tall person, a short person, he puts his arm out there like that, and you're just like that at air. Same concept. Control their head, control everything. This is where, okay, here's an interesting piece of history, guys, for those of you that like history. Do you know that battlefield medicine originated with Alexander the Great? See, he realized in battle, if you could grab somebody by the hair, you could decapitate him, and so therefore it made the soldier more vulnerable. So what did he do? He forced his soldiers to shave their head, so therefore they became less vulnerable. And so that was part of what allowed Alexander's army to continue going. The second thing is back at that point in time, if a soldier was injured in battle, they would just put him out of his misery. Well, Alexander the Great, had the barber medics, because the guys that would shave the heads were also the medics. So when you see that blue and white and red swirl, that the red swirl is to represent blood for the medic, for barber medics, and as their traditional original role of patching people up. So when you see that red and white stripe, it's because, yes, that's the reminder of the barber medics. And because of that, Alexander the Great did not have a huge attrition, was able to keep his army together and continue moving. That's how he was able to conquer all the way into India. Now, everybody says like, oh, Genghis Khan, when I think, what was it, the horse and stuff like that. But I think the biggest change in warfare and tactics was battlefield medicine, because how hard is it to recruit and train a soldier to be effective in combat? One, and two, how many of you have, and how many of them can you lose before your whole civilization gets wiped out because you knocked off all the males? So battlefield medicine kind of negates a lot of that while still allowing you to continue along that way. I think battlefield medicine was probably, next to AI warfare, I think it's probably the biggest game changer that we had, because now with AI warfare, humans won't be in the battle zone. They'll be behind computers, doing all this by computers, and it'll be machines, $150 to $10,000 machines that are just throwing at each other. It becomes a game of numbers, and the AI is playing a numbers game, and it's which AI is smarter, who's the better programmer. That's who wins the battle. Okay, it has nothing to do with strength, has nothing to do with might, it has nothing to do with tactics. It has to do with who's the better, who's the better, whatchamacallit. So, who's the better programmer? Barber surgeon was a high-class job during the Middle Ages. I did not know that. Warfare drones, yes. Yeah. Have you heard that the enlisted will be fed synthetic food? I have not. Beth, you're more than welcome to send me an email about it. I responded to your email last night, by the way. And Matthew the King, you now have 6 6 raffles. So for those of you that want to know about the raffle and all that other stuff, I'll tell you about the raffle. Okay. So for $10, either in super chat or come over and get one of the memberships. But I get real value from this channel. I'm really glad you do, Grease. I'm really glad you do. But as so with the raffles, $10 entry, you either get a sovereign. First prize is a sovereign operator membership to Patreon plus a free digital bundle. A second prize is what? It is an unreleased digital bundle. Third prize is a digital homesteader membership, free for a month. Okay, so we have it's just me with 10 tickets. We have Matthew the King with 6 tickets. We have Rails with 4 tickets. We have DJ Elf with 1 ticket. And we have Mitch, who's my newest member over on Patreon. As a Rebel Watcher, you have 1 ticket. Okay. And so on the first of the month, remind me, and we will do it during the evening live stream. That way it's public for everybody to know. I want to do public recognition as much as I can. So if you like public recognition, it's great. But anyways, that's that. Let's see here. Grease, if you were joking, I'm sorry, but I kind of messed. Nah, don't worry about it. Shit happens. You know what? Here's sci-fi story of soldiers. You guys are doing your best job. Don't feel, Chris, never feel guilty about it. You know, I'm not worried about it. We can always fix it. And all that other stuff. You know, it's always to be resolved. So don't worry about it. It's okay. You know, I mean, it's up to you guys how you guys do it. The main thing that we're working on is we need to keep it civil in here, which you can be an asshole. It's okay to be an asshole. But when you're directly attacking people or trying to be derogatory towards people and stuff like that, you're like the guy who was saying that I'm running a Ponzi scheme. That was an intended direct attack. Well, that right there is something that does not belong in here. Be polite and be courteous to other members. I mean, we all push back. You know, we're rebels, so we're kind of a little rough around the edges to begin with. So there is a little bit of tolerance there. It's kind of like a decision, you know, that you kind of got to make. But if you're not sure, just put them in timeout for 10 minutes. That way, if it needs to be corrected, it'll be corrected quickly. Versus like if you hide somebody from the channel, we'll never see him again. Like I hit Bushcraft 2.0, and all the other stuff because of all the bullshit that was going on. So don't be talking about animals getting molested is all I ask. Yeah. I get it. It's a humor thing. I get it. Yeah, it's kind of animals and children. That's kind of an off zone. Be clear, please, in what you type and send, folks, please. Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. Don't be talking. Okay. Even one good idea can mean the difference between life and death somewhat down the road. Honestly, I don't think it's about ideas. How do you get proficient at AI at this stage of AI? Get good at asking questions. Know how to ask a question and go deep with it. And don't just take the first answer it gives you. Push back, challenge it, force it to prove itself. You'll get so much more knowledge that way. Okay, because if you sit there and say, okay, well, we got all this going, what is the good projection and the bad projection over the next 5 years if this technology takes off? What are the downsides? What are the positive sides? How is that going to affect me? You can go down a deep rabbit hole, and your chatbot will answer all of those questions. And if you, like I said, if you go deep, if you push back, and if you force it to give you solid answers, like even me, oh, you talking about the dog butt? Yeah, I like that. Respect the professor. What's up, Tommy? Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We'll get a handle on this. I mean, a lot of this is just, you know, normally, for the most part, we don't really, yeah. Anyways, we'll get to it, guys. Channel does offer great brainstorming, whether it's tech or a member, uh, or a chat. Yeah. Yeah. You guys are absolutely amazing. This, like I said, I have no one. I could call and I can talk, but for some reason, the community chat has its own thing. So I don't have the physical face-to-face interaction unless, like, I meet one of my neighbors into town, which maybe once a week, right? So I get to talk to people over the phone, and that is satisfies some of the community need that I need. But the thing is this satisfies the other part of the community need. Like, you know, you can have a girlfriend or you can go to a specific site. Both are going to give you what you need. One is just going to be more satisfactory than the other, and we'll leave it at that. You guys hearing that? The trailer is shaking. We're probably getting 40-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you? No, I don't have a. Yeah, okay. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's already happening. Yes, yeah. Neuralink is happening. Oh, hey, what's up, Craig? Wonder if folks will be chipped in sometime in the near future. According to Billy Meyer, we are going to be we're going to start integrating a lot of this into our body, and I think it's going to be because of AI. They've already predicted that with the advent of AI, in order to become, they're going to use it to make super soldiers. They're going to use it to enhance the human, because the human itself by itself without the mechanical modification is deemed inferior. So in order to survive in the future, you may have to be mechanized. But if you watch any sci-fi movies, you'll see that as part of the dystopian future. Oops. If you're carrying a smartphone, you're already chipped. Pretty much. Neuralink is already. Yeah, so oh, there is a thumbnail of a dog's butthole. Okay, yes, that's Sam's butthole, by the way, and it was funny as hell. Yes, it's part of a shirt. So if you go down into my T Public, on the front it says, the lead dog, and then on the back it says the view never changes. And so it was kind of a funny, because Bucknut offered. He's like, yeah, you should take a picture of the dog's butt and post it on the back of his shirt. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like a funny idea. Let's try it out. Okay, so. Mm. Yeah, pretty much. A social scientist claims we are over 80% in the matrix. I could see that. That gets people asking. Well, there is a scientist that has that. Okay, so he says that we are reincarnated based upon social networks, a lot like how Facebook works. Wrap your head around that. Yeah. Well, am I the glitch in the matrix? Okay. Hold on here. Funny thing is, I was digging around looking for something, and in my cupboards I found one of these. This has been sitting there for probably about 4 months. So hold on a second, guys. So for those of you that are here, I'm going to tell you a neat little trick that I'm doing, and why I'm doing it. So at the end of the videos, I say, hey, this is a clip from last night's live stream. If you want to be here, 8 o'clock Eastern time, here's a treat for you. And then what I'm doing is, since I've got all these different videos and clips that I took while I was on trail, I'm just randomly putting, some of them will repeat, but I'm just randomly putting it in there. Because the thing, this is part of building a community with your long form content. Because one of the things I'm learning is that building a community through long form content isn't as good as building a community through a live stream, because your community through your long form content isn't as loyal as the community through your live stream, because they have a deeper connection with you. So by doing things like that, by putting that in there, what I'm doing is trying to artificially create a deeper connection with the viewer. So once they get to hear all the doom and gloom and the world's falling apart, and then like the last 10-20 seconds of a video is footage from me being on trail. Okay. Beth, you got to see it. What's up, Outdoors? Beth, you got to see it. You know what I'm talking about. Um, but let's see here. Feel like we're ripping the Matrix. Yeah, that's metric. Okay. Snack 25-year shelf life away. Probably good. You know, McDonald's burger lasted like 40 years and it was so well preserved, it still tasted like it was fresh. I can't believe that. That's uh, but no, somebody did that to a Twinkie. Like their first Twinkie that they ever made was framed and stuff like that. Somebody walks in and steals the Twinkie. There's even a comedy skit about it because of how dumb the guy was. Like, what? You just walking? Oh, cool Twinkie, you know. So, but okay. So let's see here. Yeah. Okay. So there's this doctor. He says that we reincarnate. Okay. So which follows along with my understanding of how the universe works to begin with, because only an arrogant fool thinks that he can learn everything he needs to know in life in 80 years. It takes millions of lifetimes, millions of experiences, and a slow molasses drip on a freezing cold day is basically the pace of your evolution over the course of, let's say, a billion years with a million reincarnations. Okay, so what he's saying is that, and Edgar Casey even tried to say this a little bit too. Edgar Casey was saying that we're all connected. We get to choose where we go, who we interact with. We're attracted into certain spots. Well, what this guy's theory is, kind of piggybacking off of what Edgar Casey said. Am I losing signal? Because of what Edgar Casey said in the Matrix about that, what he ended up talking about was it's like a Facebook group. So you know how like you have your Facebook friends and stuff like that, and so you keep reincarnating with that same group of spirits. And so like you meet each other, like this lifetime I'm a man and I'm a creator. The next lifetime I might be Beth, or I might be Chris, or I might be Grease, or I might be all this other stuff. So, was I losing signal? Okay. Tasted better than fresh burger. Okay, all clear for now. Okay, good. But that's kind of the way that he was talking, and that was actually the first podcast I ever came from off of Tim Balayu or something like that. Bellew. He's very he does. I look at the way he runs his stuff as far as his podcast, because him and I actually think a lot alike in a lot of different things. When he starts talking about knowledge, I'm like, yeah, that's basically him and I pair a lot of the same things and have a lot of the same viewpoints. We're just at different stages in life. He sold his company for $1 billion, and I'm living on a fucking homestead. You know what, though? I'd rather be on a homestead than have $1 billion, because you know how much headache that would be. Okay, meant to be that our souls cross paths. Well, Edgar Casey. Okay, that sounds more like hell. No, 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 no. To a Christian, it might seem like hell because you're miserable because you're told that there's a place where everything's easy and everything's going to be good. So why would you want to be here? This is hell on earth, because you know that there's something better and you can't have it until you get off this plane, which that is kind of the lie that Christianity teaches, that Judaism doesn't teach. They speculate about it, and Kabbalah never taught about, which is the origination of Christianity, because it starts with Abraham and goes all the way up to what Christians call Christ, or I call Emmanuel. But the reality is like this, and for you to think that this is hell, no. Honestly, when I took this point of view, and according to I'm gonna use some of what Billy Meyer says to kind of help articulate what it is that I think, but how it's changed my life for me is, no, we're not. We're living through our own creation. So here, okay. Let me focus for a quick second. All right. So if you know you can't get everything right in this lifetime, how much does it make it okay to make mistakes? Yes, it does. It's actually an encouragement to make mistakes. Why do you want to make mistakes? Why are mistakes okay to be made? Because they are learning experience. When you make a mistake and you don't learn from it, is when it becomes hell on earth, because you're not willing to learn. Because this is a classroom. We are in a the highest classroom, the highest education that one being can get, and it doesn't happen in one lifetime. Okay, so smoking pot is talked against as far as the Billy Meyer crowd goes. Should I feel guilty about it? No, I didn't get it right this lifetime. Maybe next time. Okay, this lifetime I'm going to work on the things that I can do. The lessons that are in front of me, I'm going to learn those lessons, because you have to experience everything from every angle, from every place. And once you've experienced everything from every angle, from every place, you were truly enlightened, because you know and see and understand everything. So therefore, you can go and take what your knowledge and add it to the creational force to evolve it itself. Okay, this is what Abraham taught. Okay, you start with creation, you descend, you cross the veil, you go through multiple reincarnations, then you go back through the veil because you no longer need the physical existence, and then through your evolution, you re-evolve and meet the level of creation. It's a continuous cycle. Okay, and that's the way that Abraham and the Kabbalists teach. Now, about 800 BC is when the Mosaic Law took over, and that's that. So, teacher, may I be excused then quickly reincarnate. That's funny. Yeah, well, when my mom passed, it made it a lot easier because I know that she's already back in this plane, and I instead of going, oh, I hope she's in a better place, I say, I hope her next time is much better than this one, because she didn't have a good one this one. My mom, my mom really had a screwed up life. Between what my grandfather did to her, I think my mom may have been mentally retarded, not 100% sure. But later on in life, it just kind of, as I started looking at it and as I understood more about psychology and stuff, because I was working on my own issues, I start looking at my mom and I'm like, okay, now this is, how can you be like this? And how can I mean, when I took my ASVAB, I was 5 points away from going to OCS, which for you that don't know, it's Officer Candidate School. I mean, but a lot of kids, they'll go memorize the answer, and get the 99 on it. I think very few people got it authentically. But yeah, and usually the guys that get 99 end up in intelligence anyways. But it just, her life was hard. So yeah, but she deserves to have a good life. Maybe not this lifetime, maybe the next lifetime. But the sad part is because she took her own life. According to Billy Meyer, it's like hitting a reset button on the game. You didn't learn your lesson, so you got to come back and do it again. And you want to know what? That's the one thing that has kept me at bay for the last 15 years, is because when I'm going through that misery, the second thought in the back of my head is, I don't want to go through this again. I don't care if it's another lifetime and I don't remember. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Fix it now and done. And so that is my cue of, okay, I'm not learning the lesson. Apparently I need to sit down, shut up, and pay attention. Okay. So, yeah, I miss my mom. I do. I mean, as much as I hated the woman and as much turmoil and destruction as she was in my life, people kept saying, it doesn't matter how your mom was, you'll still miss her. And I said, I'll celebrate the day she's gone. No, I miss her. I understand what those, it's not that I miss her. My mom was the only person that I could talk to, and I never had to worry about judgment or anything. I could share with her anything I wanted to, and I could talk openly without judgment or reprieve. Now, after her death, I found out why, because what she was doing was way worse than my sickest imagination. But that was my mom. I still miss her because I miss that part of her. The rest of her, I'm so glad she's gone, but I miss having that person to talk to. I got 86 on ASVAB. Yeah, as long as you get over a 30. See, if you get over a 30, if you get under a 32, you're considered mentally retarded and incapable of learning according to the according to the military. You have an IQ of like 70 at that point in time. So that's why the military won't take you. My mom could not score. They couldn't even give her a score. She scored so low. They just said you didn't even meet the minimum. And my old man, he got like a 32 or 34. Because I know this because I've got to hear stories and stuff like that. So, but my old man went into communications. So he took the smart route along that way. And so therefore he later in life got more intelligent, but in his youth, he wasn't that. So I guess I did good then. They asked me to fly helicopters. Yeah, if you fly helicopters, they wanted me to be a mechanic. They said that I had such a mechanical mind, I would be one of the top mechanics. They really, really wanted me. And I said, screw it. I want to be an infantryman. I want to be a decorated soldier, just like my uncle. Because my great uncle came out of Vietnam, third most decorated soldier. I told y'all I'm super special. Okay, I was supposed to go into the Army, but my senior year of high school was 9/11. I didn't want to fight a war for oil. Yeah. Matthew, so you're just a couple years younger than me because I graduated in 99. See, I went in with the intention of going to Bosnia and then Kosovo. And then by the time I would have gotten out of that, Afghanistan would have happened, and then Iraq would have happened. And because like I said, my uncle came out of Vietnam, third most decorated soldier, got put up for the Medal of Honor 3 times, got 2 Distinguished Service Crosses and a Silver Star. And because he did an about face on his senator's son's hand, because the senator's son was being a douche, he got a dishonorable discharge after 10 years of supreme service to the United States military. I lost a lot of respect for the military when I heard that, because I mean that's just crazy. One of your most decorated soldiers because he offends an elite, dude. Up until the 90s, you could literally beat recruits. Now, like for the Marine Corps, San Diego was considered a public base, so you were safer. But the stories from Paris Island and the way that the DIs could get away with it, I mean, yeah, you would literally, like the DI would literally beat the hell out of you. And if you fought back, he could take your life, because at that point in time, it was considered an act of aggression. But you got to realize boot camp is a simulation of a POW camp. So what do you expect? So now you're telling these kids, oh yeah, we can't be rough, we can't be aggressive. But if they ever get, so I never said bushcraft was a bum. And why does that matter? So, okay. So, anyways, well, Grease, sorry to hear it. All right. Okay. So I graduated high school 2002, seniors. We watched it in 9 class. Can you ride motorcycle, Tuck? I'm not good on 2 wheels, Matthew. Good. I guess Craig is okay. Okay. No one else did except for you. Twin brother was a 22-year-old soldier. Oh, you have a twin, huh? So, but anyways, we have got all of this stuff going. All right. So I'm, just so you know, yeah, I'm not gonna even talk about it. But yeah, just going in the military was honestly, I think every man, at the age of 16, you should go spend a summer in military boot camp. Not to turn you into a soldier, but to toughen you up and give you a realistic view. Because even though I was in the Marine Corps for 31 days before they gave me a medical ELS, or which is called an entry-level separation, they found out I had degenerative hips, said I wouldn't last 1 tour, said you got to go. I said okay, because I didn't meet the fitness. I mean, I was able to do everything else. I was just having hip problems. But anyways, with that happening, it caused me to grow up. It toughened me up. I don't think I would have had the resilience and the success with homelessness without the experience of Marine Corps boot camp. Because about a year, year and a half after I get out of boot camp, is when I have the accident happen. No, it was like 8 months after I got out of boot camp, and I was homeless my first time within a year after I got out of boot camp. Said wrestling was much harder than boot camp. I don't know. It depends upon what branch we're talking about. Marine Corps, you're running 3 miles in the morning. You're doing PT half the day, and then once you're exhausted, dead tired, then they stick you in a classroom and tell you not to fall asleep. Oh, and then every second or third night, you're up for an hour. So, and then you're doing drill because you're preparing for inspections. And once you do the drills, it's that becomes a pain in the ass. I stopped sleeping in boot camp. I couldn't get a good night's sleep because every other night I had to do fire watch because that's Marine Corps thing. Every other night I had to do fire watch, and then we were doing drill and preparing, because before you could head off to Camp Pendleton for the next stage of boot camp, you had to score high in your drill. And then you would have to go off and do marksmanship. But I was doing drill in my sleep, and I would hear stories that are like, yeah, we keep seeing you flip, you're doing about faces, left face, right face, you're doing all that in your sleep. I'm like, yeah, I know. I thought it was just a dream. I didn't realize I was actually doing it. But yeah, boot camp. When I was on that plane from MEPS in Dallas to the San Diego airport where we got picked up, I had this nagging cough. It was something that it wouldn't go away. Like you probably see people like that. They're constantly going. Well, I had that tickle in the back of my throat. The second that DI comes on the bus and says, put your feet on that yellow feet on those yellow footprints, that immediately went away. I mean, there is, like, all of a sudden you get a reality check and your body goes into a completely different mode. I don't really buy the Billy Meyer stuff. I'm more into his theory. The Earth is a soul prison for extraterrestrials. Yes, but then that would mean that we've had many visitors, which means that we would have outside influence, which would mean it would be a violation of the Star Trek Prime Directive, which, if you also listen to Billy Meyer, that is why they're here, is because their ancestors did not follow that Prime Directive, interfered in our planet, and they're doing the best they can to be able to fix it by having a third party give out their information. So, I mean, that's really the crux of it. You should, Tommy. You should read. Oh God, you'll probably find it. It's called From the Stars to Mars. I interviewed the guy, One Who Studies. He actually wrote that article, and I put a link to it in that interview. So if you go look at that, you'll do that. Well, we actually are. Humans are actually supposed to live 1,000 years, according to Meyer. Humans are supposed to live 1,000 years, but so according to this document that the kid put out that I was talking about is way back when. So think about Star Wars. Way back when, in a galaxy far, far away, there was a civilization, and they had a spiritual leader, and this spiritual leader was called Nokadamian, and Nokadamian was the first of their people, of their civilization, to no longer need the physical realm, and he transcended from physical to the metaphysical because he transcended over into the other side. Well, that left his people dazed and confused. And so what they did is they split into two groups. One group went off and said, we're going to evolve naturally. The other one said, well, we want to evolve as fast as our master, so we're going to genetically modify ourselves. So what they did is they took the aggressive gene out of their genetics. And so and then they started having other planetary civilizations come by and try and attack them. They had the technology, but they still needed warriors to fight a war. Okay. And so what they did is they created a genetically modified abomination to creation. They gave it. They created what you and me. The story of Adam and Eve. They created you and me, and in their image. One, if you read the book of Enoch, it says because to preserve their genetics because of all of the manipulation that they were doing, but also there was another thing that was going on with, as they genetically modified us, they gave us diseases that, and sped up our aging process, which according to Meyer, there's something within like our spine. It's like a brain drip. The valve has been turned up. If we turn the valve down, we'll start expanding our lifespan to something around a couple hundred years to 1,000 years. But anyways, we got the heightened aggressive gene, and so once that civilization that did the genetic modification fixed their problem, they wanted to destroy or wipe out their abomination. And so they had, you hear stories in the Bible like the War of Words. So think of it like that. They had a discourse in public, and the overwhelming decision was to wipe them out and just consider it a mistake that we'll never make again, because what we did was like the ultimate crime against creation itself. And but there were some that sympathized with it because it's life, and only creation gives life, and only creation can take life, so it's therefore not our right. And so they gathered enough of them up, brought them to a planet that we know as Mars, and they were there over time. But the destroyer planet comes by, and it gets so close to Mars that it actually rips off the atmosphere, which is why Mars is a dead planet. It rips off its atmosphere. And so in order for the refugees to survive, they split off and go into two groups. One goes to a planet called Melona, and one goes to the planet called Earth. The ones in the planet Melona became so militaristic that they heated up the core of their planet and caused it to explode, which is what our asteroid belt is. Then over here on Earth, they ruled us, our ETs ruled us like gods. Like, think of, what was that movie? Stargate. Think of it a lot like Stargate, okay? And in that same sense, that's how the Jews became the chosen people, okay? That is essentially the history of Earth that he talks about. If you read that document, as like because he went through, he's read everything, done everything Meyer. He's very, very into the Meyer stuff, so he's very knowledgeable on that material. The only person I think is more knowledgeable than him, other than maybe Billy Meyer, is Michael Horn. But that's because Michael Horn has been the Meyer spokesman for what, 30 years? But see, all that stuff doesn't really, it fascinates me, but that's not why I follow him. What I followed him for was because he taught me self-accountability, self-responsibility, how the universe works, what the laws are of the universe, and how to be able to, not necessarily how to be able to manipulate them into your benefit, but more or less how to be able to use the law of attraction to your benefit. It's a law out there. It's a mechanical law. You have the right to use it. Everybody has the right to use it. But do you know how to use it? So therefore, you learn how to change your thoughts so that you can use the law of attraction to attract the things to you that you want. Okay, the law of causation. Okay, for example, with what happened last night. Yeah, me talking publicly, the law of cause and effect says that that chain of events was eventually going to happen. I knew after I said it, I was like, oh shit, here we go. I already knew this was going to happen, but I figured if I talked about it once, moved on, never talked about it again. Because the thing is most people forget about things in about 2 or 3 days. And if you want to keep harping on it, all you're doing is etching it in their memory and making the situation worse for you. So let people forget about it. Make a mistake, people forget about it. Learn from your mistakes, evolve, become a better human being. Find a strict code of conduct and ethics to live by, because those ethics need to be aligned with the laws of the universe. At that point in time, you are now developing a stronger, more personal relationship with your creator than you ever would through any religion or any scripture, because it is a personal, sought after relationship. Yes, sounds logical. Richard Dean Anderson, my fave, starred in Stargate. Not that he wrote it. Was he the doctor? Because I like the doctor. He was cool. Repetition. Yes. Well, you gotta learn a lot of lessons. Like The hardest lesson for most people to learn in our modern society is that we are the cause of all of our own problems. Um, no matter, and it's very, very hard to acknowledge it. And at some point in time, you can do everything you can to fix a problem, but you are I think that people misplace it and they say that you are the cause of all of your problems. I think that is 80% correct. The 80% of all of it is you, but the other 20% is environment. Whether it be uncontrollable things that you have no control over, whether it be the way that you were taught that you have no control over because it was ingrained in you from birth all the way moving up. But even as you get older, like you're going to always struggle with issues because one, I don't know, we're social people, but we don't, yeah, I don't know. Or more MacGyver. Oh, I love MacGyver. That was one of my favorite shows growing up. Row, row, row a joint, pass it down the line. I like that. No, this is just a cigarette. Mm. Although I did see a girl yesterday on the vertical live that was taking bong hits. I mean, you could see that she was doing a bong. You just couldn't see the spark to the flame and everything else like that. But like you knew what she was doing. And I'm surprised that they didn't deplatform her because my neighbor, he runs a weed farm, and YouTube does not want any of that stuff there. So therefore they throttle all his stuff back. But he uses it as a way to be able to show other growers. So he's not really tied to it in the way that I'm tied to it, trying to make money, turn it into a business, turn it into a lifestyle. He uses it to complement his business and to network within the growing community, because growers will come across it. But just to be put out to the masses, it's not going to be put out to the masses. I want to say hello to Alphabet Boys and Girls monitoring the chat today. Oh, yes. You can get away with it even though it's against terms of service, but you also get demonetized quickly. I don't need to be demonetized. That's why I want to bring everybody over to Patreon. Okay. I want to bring everybody over to Patreon. So, like I said, for the first couple of weeks, it's going to be free. If you do not have a free membership over on Patreon, please come over and get a free membership on Patreon. Okay. Those of you, like I said, those of you that are in my homeless community, send me an email. Where's the chat room in Patreon? So, are you using the app, or are you using are you using the desktop? Because if you use the app, if you look down, you'll see the two talking bubbles. That's where the chat room is. But that's just regular chat for everybody. No, there is a chat there. Everybody's included. Because part of your membership, I got to double check something. Maybe every time I get a new member, I've got to add them to chat. Oh, I did not download the actual app. Yeah, well, you can get into it through the desktop even. It should be on the left-hand side. If you, I will look up instructions and I will DM it to you on Patreon, Beth. Oh, okay. I only see comment section. Well, yes, that's in my posts. Okay. Are you using the app? Okay. Only using my phone. Okay. Well, if you're using your phone, then you can't download the app, which means you're using the website. And by going to the website, see, I use the app. I'm 100% mobile. Let's see here. How do we do this? I will, yes, on my Android. Well, then when in the bottom, okay, so when you see the screen up and down on the bottom toolbar, at least for me, because I have an iPhone. I know it's different, but on the bottom toolbar, you'll see like two little talk bubbles. That's chat. Just click on that, and then and it'll take you over to that tab, and then it'll put you in chat. Check that out. See if you can find it. I think I may have to do a tutorial. Okay, so if you access through Chrome, I can't pull my laptop up because I need data. We will figure it out. Yes, clear up space. Yeah, sometimes it's easier said than done. For $2 a month, Beth, is it pictures and videos that you have? because for $2 a month, you can get like 100 gig worth of space on a Google Drive. You can upload all of your stuff there, and then, saving you can save some space on your phone, especially if you have an Android. It's already tied into Google, so you just boom, you put it all up there. You wipe it off your phone. Now it's stored. That way, if you move a different phone, you can just download it to your phone. Flash drive won't work for your. Well, you got to get a converter for a flash drive for your phone, unless you can transfer it to your computer and then just put it on a flash drive that way. But here's the thing: flash drives, they're good. You want to get one of the ones that's retractable. Okay, so with the retractable USB, don't get one that's sticking out. You'll bend it, you'll break it, you'll lose it. Okay, because basically it's a piece of RAM that's stuck to a USB cord. Anyways, but yeah, let's see here. It's becoming an issue. I'll drive. Okay, yeah, because I mean, I pay $2 a month for 100 gig of space, and that's like all the stuff that I'm uploading to the website in order to save space, because I only get like I think like 1 gigabyte or something like that, or 10 gigabytes on my website. I have to put links to everything and have a storage facility. So that's why I use Google Drive, and I have to pay for it that way. I've got like 10 gigs of stuff just from what I've done over the last few weeks. So, and because I hadn't been using it a lot, but now I'm using it a lot because I have to transfer stuff. Like today, I'm going to have to transfer, I'm going to have to transfer a video. Okay, guys, we've been going for about an hour and a half. Okay, I'd like to strongly encourage you to, I just did the logistics on how to get out to where you're at. It's a 35-hour ride, well over 2,000 miles, still made me worth to come and scout the area before making any decision. Your choice, Matthew. However you want to do it. If you stop in, if like my rule is 1 or 2 nights you can stay, but there's no permanent staying. But like if you need a place to park your car, you can park in my driveway for the night. Out here, there's also free places to stay. Like you can go down to the lake. It's a free campground. So there's plenty of free places around here to sleep. Whether you want to, come hang out with me or you want to go down to the lake. It's your choice. But anyways, guys, thanks for being here. I will see you tonight. I'm at my max. Till next time. Y'all take care. Nice. Later, Beth. I will see you guys I'll see you guys later tonight.